Just to be honest, I'm smoking no chronic by speaking Ebonics, finesse 100. Focus on making some money, get on the track and go dummy. Bitches a rap like a mummy, I'm a human tsunami. Shoot up your block with a Tommy, as soon as they see me they running. Niggas they know how I'm coming, hop out the car and I'm dumping. Bagging and flipping, no fumble, paper I washing, no tumble. I am so humble, I am so ready to rumble. Swing at your face and you stumble, nigga I do what I wanna. Just to be honest, nigga I do what I wanna. Just to be honest, just to be honest, nigga I do what I wanna. Just to be honest, just to be honest.
What on, family? It's your boy SN TV, back at y'all with another international Stepperz. And this episode is gonna be about none other than Nipsey Hussle, aka Thundercat.
What's up with it, y'all? It's neighborhood Nipsey Hussle.
Like I always had a passion for rap music.
Nipsey Hussle was born Ermias Ascadon, August 15th, 1985, to DeWitt Ascadon and Angelique Smith.
I mean, I'm African, but I'm from LA though, you know what I mean?
Nipsey was the second of 3 siblings, him being the middle child. He also had an older brother by the name of Samuel Ascadon and a younger sister by the name of Samantha Smith. Nipsey Hussle really looked up to his big brother, where he would get his motivation to hustle hard from. Coming up, Nipsey Hussle would watch his older brother make money in all types of different ways. This motivated Nipsey to want to grind, get out in the streets and get it. He also developed a love for hip-hop music at a very early age. Around 7 or 8, his favorite rap group was Crisscross.
Do you guys love each other?
Yeah.
Nipsey would realize that he needed money to attain the things that he wanted in life. Nipsey would get a job on Aileen and Slauson Avenue at a place called Chambers Shoe Shine.
And I was a young boy, I used to shine shoes at Chambers.
Nipsey would also record his first rap song in the 6th grade. He would record it to the introduction song on the Dogfather album by Snoop Dogg. Nipsey Hussle was a genius. Not only was he able to build computers from scratch,
I could not believe this. He had built the computer and it was working.
But he just understood certain things about life that the average youngster his age couldn't even fathom.
What did you say you want to do?
I said invest in some assets.
One of the most interesting things about Nipsey Hussle is the fact that he had the uncanny ability to be able to think ahead. He had the ability to say, well, I'll buckle down for right now and do what I gotta do, but I got a plan. I got something bigger and I got something better that I'm definitely gonna apply when I get to where I'm trying to go. Nipsey Hussle's mother would begin to notice how in love with music Nipsey was, so she would sign him up for some classes at the Watts Towers, and this is where Nipsey Hussle would learn how to do more than just rap. Nipsey Hussle actually started his music career off as a producer for a guy named Cuzzy Capone.
For the Rolling 60s, we loved it.
At about the age of 13, Nipsey Hussle decided to become a Rolling 60s Crip. Now most people say that it was only a matter of time before he joined the Crips, because that's what he was around all the time, and that's what he was most influenced by. At around the age of 14 or 15, Nipsey Hussle would also drop out of high school, not because he was dumb or he didn't want to do it, but because he felt like being in high school was nothing but a waste of time, and that the things that they were teaching in high school was going to be irrelevant to the life that he was going to live in the future.
Quitting is not an option. 6 hours make $1 million.
After finding out that Nipsey Hussle had dropped out of high school, Nipsey's mother would kick him out. He would move from Rimpon 60th, from his mother's house, to 5th Avenue, to his grandmother's house, where the Rolling 60s were a lot more prevalent. After Nipsey figured out pretty much what he wanted to do in life, he kind of set music on the back burner and began to hit the block every day and hustle. At this time, he was beginning to get more acquainted with the Crips, and also he was putting in work for his hood. This is the time where Nipsey Hussle learned a lot of things about the streets that he didn't know before. He was actually put on the set by a guy that went by the name of Cowboy, who was actually the one that gave him his nickname Thundercat. Nipsey Hussle's initial rap name was Concept, and he was rapping with a group that went by the name of Stranded Minds. He was actually given the name Nipsey Hussle by a guy that he was very familiar with, a guy that went by the name of Baby Gooch, and he said that he gave Nipsey Hussle this name because Nipsey Hussle stayed on his hustle 24/7. He initially got this name from the legendary comedian Nipsey Russell. Even though Nipsey Hussle would begin to build his street reputation up, and he would begin to get into a lot more fights and shootouts and represent for his gang, the Rolling 60s Crips, he was still never one of those Crips that glorified the death and destruction of his people. He was always one of those guys who wanted to do more, who wanted to give back to the community, who always had a plan outside of gangbanging. He was a true leader. Purchasing prime real estate in their neighborhood was always a dream that was carried by Nipsey Hussle and his brother Black Sam. So they purchased a spot called Slauson Tees in the same exact area that they would later purchase the Marathon on Slauson and Crenshaw. Now this area was so important to Nipsey Hussle and his brother because this is the area where they came up. This was the area where they made their bones. This is the area where they sold t-shirts and records out of the trunk of their car.
Originally, we had this location right here. It was called Slauson Tees.
They would end up losing this location because Nipsey Hussle's brother, Black Sam, would end up going to prison for 3 years. After he got out, he would actually make the decision to go ahead and buy up another location within that same lot. Nipsey Hussle would begin getting nationwide recognition in 2009 when he dropped the song Hustle in the House. That was basically a remix of Criss Cross's Jump.
A crazy motherfucker named Nipsey.
That same year, Nipsey Hussle was signed with Cinematic Music Group and Epic Records after being accused of having a gun in a case in which his brother was raided for selling illegal CDs and DVDs. A guy that went by the name of Big U and a guy that went by the name of Steve LaBelle, who were Nipsey's managers at the time, had a lot to do with Nipsey Hussle being signed as well. Nipsey Hussle's voice would finally begin to be heard as he would make the 2010 XXL freshman magazine class. He would be alongside J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, Freddie Gibbs, J-Rock, Pill, OJ the Juice Man, Fashawn, and Donis. In 2013, Nipsey Hussle would separate himself from the pack when he would formulate his Proud to Pay campaign, in which he would press 1,000 of his Crenshaw CDs and sell them all for $100. Jay-Z would end up buying 100 of them himself. Nipsey Hussle would sell all 1,000 copies of this CD, making him the first and the last to ever do something like this, and automatically placing him in a league of his own. A year later, Nipsey Hussle would drop Mailbox Money, which he would release 100 CDs, this time for $1,000 a piece. Nipsey Hussle would go on to sell 60 CDs out of 100, making him $60,000. Nipsey Hussle is recorded to be the only rapper to ever do something like this, and in my opinion, he's the only rapper that will ever do something like this, especially in today's times, especially considering the fact that he had the record streaming for free. Nipsey Hussle is the GOAT when it came to the hustle, and that's just a fact.
Hustle man, a shooter, that's a fact, nigga.
Nipsey Hussle would drop Slauson Boy 2 in 2016, which was actually a sequel to the 2005 first Nipsey Hussle mixtape, Slauson Boy. In 2017, Nipsey Hussle would drop the No Pressure mixtape with Bino Riddle. On February 16th, 2018, Nipsey Hussle accomplished one of his goals in life. He actually released his debut album, Victory Loud, through his record label, All Money In, No Money Out, and Atlantic Records. Nipsey Hussle also was featured on or provided songs like the likes of The Rap Monument, Victory Loud, Fuck Donald Trump, Racks in the Middle,
Double Up, You Broke, Dedication, Higher, Hold Up, and Hustle and Motivate.
I was just finna fire on Nip, man. Don't even trip, man. It's all good, man.
Hey, these underbosses fire on a low like myself, cuz. Hey, niggas in hell gonna have ice water with balloons and umbrellas in their cups, nigga. On wood.
On the day of March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was on Slauson and Crenshaw, right in front of his store that he had at his location at that plaza. Nipsey Hussle was outside talking to friends when a gunman walked up and began to shoot Nipsey Hussle.
A newly released grand jury testimony reveals a possible motive in the murder of rapper Nipsey Hussle.
An NBC4i team obtained those transcripts after a court hearing, and investigative reporter Eric Leonard joins us now live from the newsroom with more on what they reveal. Eric.
Well, Carolyn and Michael, hundreds of pages of transcripts captured the testimony of a number of eye and ear witnesses to the murder in March. They say the shots were fired after Nipsey Hussle and the accused killer exchanged words about someone being a snitch. Also, the single most important witness, the getaway driver, told the grand jury she tried to turn herself into the LAPD and was turned away.
In the moments before the shooting, a witness standing next to Nipsey Hussle says the rapper told Eric Holder, the now accused killer, that law enforcement had some paperwork on him. The word paperwork meaning Holder may have been cooperating with police, possibly as an informant. In testimony, the witness said he didn't know what Holder allegedly snitched about, only that it was the last conversation Hussle had before he was shot. Another witness said he heard the killer say, "You're through," to Hussle just as the shots were fired. Later, a deputy medical examiner explained Hussle was struck at least 10 times. A police officer and witnesses said the killer fired from 2 handguns at once. The testimony led to murder and attempted murder charges against Holder, who's pleaded not guilty. Also during the secret hearing, the woman who says she drove Holder from the scene seconds after the gunfire says she also overheard some conversation about a snitch, but this time it was Holder asking Hussle if he'd ever snitched. That woman was given immunity to testify. She says she saw Holder with both guns before and after the murder, and even though she heard the gunshots and says she helped Holder hide out, says she didn't think he'd committed the murder until days later.
This same woman also told grand jurors she decided to go to police, but says when she walked into the LAPD's 77th station and told the desk officer she had been involved in the Hussle case and her car was being shown on television, the officer told her, "Don't believe what you see on TV," and turned her away. She later became the single most important witness in the case. These transcripts, by the way, were unsealed today over the objections of prosecutors and defense lawyers who said they worried about a fair trial if too much detail became public too soon. The judge disagreed. Live in the newsroom, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard. Back downstairs to you.
I will not do a what we can learn question on this video. Why? Because Nipsey Hussle was the most perfect example of what a black man should be and what a black man should be doing in the wilderness of North America. Nipsey Hussle did pretty much everything the right way. Although he wasn't perfect, he was someone that as a black man, I can say that I looked up to, and he didn't have many flaws. I do have a couple questions though, and I truly hope that the answer to these questions will cause someone to open his or her eyes to really see how much we as a people are killing ourselves and harming ourselves all for nothing. Question number 1. Why is it that when we as a people have a leader that will give people their last breath, we kill them, but allow the non-productive people amongst us to live to their old? Question number 2. Why is it that we exalt our heroes after they're dead in our community? Why do we not exalt our heroes while they're still alive in the black community? Question number 3. Would Nipsey Hussle have gotten a humanitarian award if he was still alive? I'm going to repeat that question. Would Nipsey Hussle have gotten the humanitarian award if he was still alive? Shout out to Los Angeles. Shout out to Slauson. Shout out to the Rolling 60s Crips. And shout out to Nipsey Hussle's family, wife, and kids that will forever miss him. I just want to say thank you, Nipsey Hussle, for being a great presence amongst us. I wish that you would have been here longer to feed and nurture the earth with the love that you have. This has been the episode of Nipsey Hussle, aka Ermias Ascadon, aka Thundercat, aka Neighborhood Nip. It's your boy, SN TV.